I know that some of the places you've worked have had different environments. Like you've had open workspaces, you've had office spaces, you've had your own like office, whatever. What is it like in working in the field in different like these kind of different environments, and how have you experienced that? Because if I remember correctly, there was a point where you're like, "This is driving me nuts," and I don't remember exactly what happened. So I would love to learn a little bit about that from you.
Okay, so that's like intrinsically linked to how I found out I had ADHD and how I got diagnosed, actually. So it's a funny story. I have worked in a wide variety of work environments. When I started out, I was working in an office space with like three other people. With, we all were facing like circular, so our screens were all facing outwards. Everyone passing by could see. It always stresses me out having anyone being able to look over my shoulder. I think that's a common, everybody feels that way, but like it was like very stressful because you're always like, oh my God, I have to at any given moment like make sure that you can see that I'm working, and then we moved to another place, and I shared an office with one other person. That was like the golden age of documentation for me. Like those years where it was just me and another person in an office in our own space. Like that was amazing. Like it was quiet. It was, you could have one-on-one meetings. That was great. And then they moved all of us into an open space floor, and I was freaking out. I was losing it. I was really stressed about this. Again, because I feel deeply uncomfortable with people looking over my shoulder at any given moment. Like it raises my stress levels. I know I get my work done. I know I get it done well in a timely manner. I know I get a lot of work done. But there's always this like, and I'm not going to get into why I get stressed about this. It's deeply connected to my childhood, and we're not in a therapy session here, so we're not going to get into it. But this is like my personal stuff I deal with. And this is like a big stress factor for me.
Okay.
And so, yeah. So I was actually at the time, and here's a big shout out to therapy. I love therapy. I think it's important. Everybody should go. I'm super big on mental health, people. So just so you know, I was seeing a therapist at the time because my oldest son was approaching his bar mitzvah. And I was a wreck. I was so stressed out. Like I was so stressed out that I had started breaking out in like stress rashes on a regular basis. It was not good. Wow. And I was like, like I was so overwhelmed. I don't think I'd ever been that overwhelmed in my life. And so I started seeing a therapist mainly to deal with stress, whatever. And I was still seeing her when we got this news that like that was handled. And we found out that we were going to be moving to open space. And I was like talking to her about it. I'm just like, and I'm really stressed out about it. I'm freaking out about it. I don't know what to do. And she looks at me and she's like, well, why don't you just get a letter from your doctor saying that you have ADHD? Because, that kind of environment is not conducive to you being able to work. And I looked at her, I'm like, but I don't have ADHD. And I swear it was like watching her life flash before her eyes. Like in that moment, she got this look of just, oh no, like that was... Like it's frozen in my brain. This look of, we have so many more issues than I thought we had. And I went home and I remember being like, it was such a weird thing for her to say to me. Like, why would she say that? And I started like doing every single possible online quiz, which is not an accurate way to diagnose anything. But I was like, let's start from here for ADHD. And they were all like, oh, honey, like every single one of them was like, oh, no. So I went back to her and I sat down and I'm like, so, okay, I think I might have ADHD. And she goes, we should take care of that. It's like, so that was like the beginning of the process. And yeah, like I went to get diagnosed with a specialist. And it's a 2-hour session, and 45 minutes into it, she's like, look, I have to ask you all the questions. Like, we have to finish it up, but there is no doubt in my mind that you have ADHD. So that was like a whole process of beginning to learn, like, okay, how does this affect me? Why, like, places that I was having trouble with, how can I improve my own work skills and processes, which I was much bigger wreck at my job. I was good at it, but I was not organized or and I started this whole learning process of, okay, what does this mean? How does this affect me? What does this mean for my brain? Finding those places where I struggle and recognizing them and why, and finding systems to work around it.
Thank you for joining us in the Doctor's Den. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hope to see you next time.